Whoa. Okay. Cool. All right. That's it. Welcome back to another VRSpies podcast. Today we are going to be talking about virtual reality, mental health, and of course we have a special guest, GAMERTAG VR. What's going on, brother?
How's it going? Thank you for having me, man. How you doing? You all right?
Doing excellent, and actually finally looking a little bit better now that we restarted the router. So I'm glad you made sure I did that.
It's all smart
guy. Smart guy. So yeah, this is the first time we actually got to have a video chat together, which is kind of cool because we've met several times in VR, but this is the first time we've, I guess, virtually met in person. And I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to meet in person for real too. So,
but I also want to add, like, when you meet someone in VR, it's like I've had that thing where I've met someone I used to play Halo with a lot, and then we met in person, and it was quite strange. But for some reason, in virtual reality, I find it less strange to meet people face to face once I've met them in VR. There's almost like more of a personal touch to meeting someone in virtual reality.
Yeah. I think you've probably spoken about this before. I've definitely spoken about it in the past with people, like because you get to understand the body intonations of people. And that's not a real word. The way that people act is something that you can just see. And also not only that, but hearing the voice. I mean, because you've got that location, I mean, you're used to actually looking around and seeing the person. So, I mean, even now we don't have that. We have to look at the camera to pretend we're looking at each other and then look at the screen to see each other. Whereas virtually we're just interacting like we are in person. So that's super cool. I do want to do a quick shout out, of course, to GAMERTAG. It's super late, man. So thanks for staying up and hanging out with us.
Hey.
Sponge 720. What's up, VR nerd? That's right. We are a bunch of VR nerds. Proud and happy to be one. For now. I've got even my monkey or my chimpanzee VR shirt on. I was trying to be cool. Wanted to wear it.
What have I got on? I've got the one that the Wizards gave me from Gamescom. Yeah, Dark Times.
Hey, Gamescom. So you're a conference goer. We talked a little bit about that, about the fact that you were invited to go to OC6, but unfortunately didn't get to go this year. But you go to Gamescom. You've been to some other conferences. Been to any VR
I go
conferences?
well, no, they're not pure VR. So I go to EGX every year, which is like one of the biggest ones in the UK. And Gamescom was my first time going somewhere else. So yeah, that was amazing. Apart from staying in a hostel, I don't recommend that. That's not good.
No, man, hostels, no privacy. I like to have my own space.
No privacy, and worried that someone's just going to like steal the skin off your back while you're asleep. Yeah, it's not good.
Especially if you're a creator. I mean, you usually have electronics with you. You've got chargers, laptops, cameras, all kinds of things that you just need to have in a special place. I mean, shoot, even in certain countries, they say you can't trust the hotel rooms, and I've been pretty lucky so far myself. So. It's cool that you get to go see some of those things. We also talked. I do want to mention it. You've got yourself a big podcast that you've been starting up recently, right? And you've been doing that with some other people. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. So once a week on a Sunday evening, basically I get together on a show that I decided to call the VR Link, and just get together with some guys that I know are passionate about VR. And that's it, man. Same as you, really. Just go through news, games, just chat about stuff, see what opinions are. But the difference with my sort of thing is I try to interact with the chat a lot and the guys in the chat, because that's what the show's for. So I'm always like chatting to them, reading out their comments and stuff. And I prefer that. I prefer that interaction. It doesn't necessarily make for a better podcast because it's just got an audio version, because obviously they're going to be people are just going to be listening to me shouting out people's names. But that's just what I wanted to do. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to do, is obviously interacting with the audience. I try to make sure to say hey to the buddies that are in there all the time. One thing is I guess our format of the VRSpies has changed so much. We used to have the chat on the screen live, and sometimes we still do, and sometimes we are in VR with people actually there with us. We've kind of done it in like a 15 different ways. So I'm always excited to be open with this format. The main thing that I want to do, especially in today's episode, is just talk a little bit about, how VR is helping not only, with health, but mental health, with some of those problems that some people have, with the world around us, and how VR can help with that. And I think it's not only an interesting subject, but an important one. So I wanted to kind of talk about that, and not just by myself. I wanted to get somebody else's take on that. And you yourself said that you not only, understand this topic, but also deal with it, and in the sense that you're going to be doing some live streams. So that's something that's interesting.
Yeah, so I've had issues with mental health in the past. But funny enough, I said to my wife I was going to do this with you, and she was like, "Be careful what you say." So I've got do you know what I mean? I can obviously say at a point where I've been to a point where I am now. But yeah, I've learned some stuff about it, because that was one of the things I found out. The best thing to do was learn about it, that it is an illness. It's not, and it is a change in yourself, as in, it's like having a cold or something like that, but you've got to learn to self-medicate it, unfortunately, every day as well, because it can always come back. I'm fully aware of all that stuff. So yeah, and I'm going to be doing a 24-hour live stream. Last year it was for cancer, because I know a lot of people on the channel have suffered, or not. I think everyone has been touched by cancer in some way, their families and stuff. And my mum had breast cancer last year, so it kind of made sense to be doing it about cancer. And then so this year's going to be mental health, because of a lot of reasons. One, personal, because I've suffered from it, and I see a lot of other people suffering from it, and it's nice to just be open and share. That's one of the main ways of killing some of the issues, especially depression, is like, be open with it, share it. Do you know what I mean? Because one thing depression hates is you being happy, and it hates you talking to other people about it. So yeah, that's one of the ways of fighting it, is to talk about it, and share your thoughts and feelings on it.
Absolutely. I heard you. Hopefully you guys didn't get an echo, because it was starting to come out of my laptop.
It was perfect, dude. It's perfect. Yeah, it sounded fine to me.
I got like red there. It was getting all hot. No, I agree with you wholly in the sense that it's probably, for me, the most important subject when it comes to how VR can help us right now. Other than the fact that VR is extremely nice for entertainment, it's a wonderful tool to be used for film and to express so many amazing things. But all of these things, even when we're talking about games, when we're talking about sports, esports, or even the film entertainment and the way that it affects you, all those things affect your mental health. And people that are feeling all happy all the time, it's just this great experience. People that are sometimes feeling lost and like they have nothing else to hope for can then experience it and completely wake up again. And I myself, I know the beauty of VR, right? And I have highs and lows like all people, but absolutely, when I'm in my lows and I jump in and whether I play a game and get that, that feeling of exercise, the endorphins popping in, and there's either some progress, whether I'm playing something with someone else or in a sport, that allows me to kind of feel happy and feel good again. And one thing about that, I guess, why is VR important? Why? Because there's many ways to do this. Well, VR is a place where I can go by myself. When you're depressive, when you're kind of sad, or when you have mental issues, sometimes you want to exclude yourself from other places. You want to put yourself in a hidden place somewhat, or you want to hide from the world. And putting the VR headset kind of gives you that feeling like you're doing that. Like, here I go, I'm disappearing. And then the whole world's in front of you, as opposed to actually being lost and stuck in a dark corner. So, and I'm always excited about how that can happen and how the different experiences I have make me feel, the way the emotions actually affect my body. So, I'm excited that at least you have some understanding and feelings of that. I wonder if people in the chat, if they ever have any things that they want to talk about, we're welcome to mention that as well. Sponge says that I use the Quest as a mental health device, right? Do some work and then take 10 minutes relaxing in Pavlov match. Yeah, and I think that's like funny, at the same time completely true, because we can do things like play these kind of games that are maybe morbid or even bad for some other people, but they're a great way to release stress. And test after test, or after what do they do when they do these little surveys, people over and over say that it does not affect how they actually do things in the physical world, as far as you're less likely to do stupid things if you have these stress outlets. So
yes, that is perfect, dude. That is actually like what I would say. It's funny that in The Last of Us, for example, so gaming for me has always been like in my, I would say, pretty rubbish upbringing. Gaming was always there. It was always the thing that actually, if you're playing the game, you sort of forget what's going on, so you're just enjoying it, and that's the thing. It is like a release in a way. It is, and I find that in the gym as well. The gym's the same thing. It's not just gaming. And like The Last of Us, funny enough, I was talking to someone the other day, and I said to him, "Dude, you got to play The Last of Us, which is free on PS Plus at the moment." And I was like, "Man, I love killing people with bricks." And he was like, "I don't think that's the right thing, man. You can't really say that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't want to do it in real life." But dude, it's brilliant. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, you know, I mean, that's the same as you could say you're killing someone in Pavlov, or you're shooting people. Or you know, everyone got excited when I think it was Firewall Zero Hour recently announced that you've got the ability to kill someone with throwing a knife at them. Everyone's like, yeah, but no one then goes, I wonder. You know what I mean? It's not. I personally don't find that.
I really am not afraid of a kid who plays a game, especially when they play it, and I say the right way, because there is a right way and a wrong way to play games. And I do want to at least mention this real quick, because I don't want to get stuck on it, because it will kind of push the negative view. At least it could. But what it is like, I've seen a lot of people play VR very normally, whether it's a shooting game or a combat game or fighting game or a puzzle game. You go through and you do the objectives and you accomplish it, and then you finish the mission. There are people out there, the select few, that play these games, and they do some morbid type things. If there's like a body that's got ragdoll effects, you'll see them playing with it for way too long. You'll see them unloading clips or rifles, or they'll be putting ammunition into a fake corpse way too much or for too long, far gone dead, right? And those situations, when you watch those happening, especially, that can be a little much. And then that's a whole another mental health issue right there. Like, like if you're pulling an insect apart, or if you kill a baby bird or something, like, there's all these bad things that can happen, as a kid, that people see. They're like, that's probably psycho serial killer material right there. And I think some of these things, even in VR, we can see when somebody plays it normal and when somebody plays it much different from normal. And those are very, they're distinctly very different things. So I think that we're going to have a time where people are going to be doing some really morbid things, whether it's for YouTube views or whether it's just because they're kind of morbid. And then they're going to put these things online. And then people are going to compare all the VR gamers, because that's capable. Yeah. This must be what everybody's doing. And that's
true, man.
It's not true.
I played The Walking Dead, Servius's new game, and they're obviously going for that shock factor gore, next level stuff. Like, you put a knife into someone in that, or a zombie, which kind of makes it okay. It's a zombie. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's dead anyway. You do what you like. Zombie. Yeah, you go to pierce the flesh, and it goes into like an X-ray mode, so you can then see all the innards, what's happening. And in my video is me playing it. And you can just about see the dev's head. And I started playing with the body. I thought, how much can I chop this up? How much can I miss it? And he's like grimacing at what I'm doing. And I didn't notice it till afterwards. Obviously, I was in the headset. But I remember thinking, did I go too far then? Like, did I?
Playing it out right there. I mean, yeah, you're thinking somebody's going to look at that and say, "Hey, is this guy crazy? What's he doing? Oh my God, he's got a family. He's going to hurt people." Like, no, come on, guys. Like, come on. This is VR, and it's entertainment, right? I mean, because it's a multi-purpose thing that's going on there. You certainly play games one way generally by yourself, and then it changes a little bit when you're streaming or when you're recording, because you're usually talking to an audience. Otherwise, you're crazy talking to yourself all the time, which some people absolutely do. I'm pretty sure that I play most of my games the same, but I forget to talk to people. I just kind of play like I'm by myself. But yeah, I like to have fun. I like to let my imagination go free. And that's kind of the fun of VR, is that it's so easy for your imagination to go free. But going away from just the shooting games or the zombie games, there's so many more games that are just beautiful, that are, exciting and invigorating, and they've got just thrills and things inside of them. But mainly it's beautiful architecture and just fun things to look at. So I think that because of what VR can do overall, it can certainly allow you to experience the vast majority of different things, good and bad. But at the end of the day, even the bad things that you experience can help you.
Yeah,
for the average person. They're gonna help.
Zip on in your chat. He's just said he's got paranoid schizophrenia, and he uses VR chat to escape the real world when he feels down. VR chat for me comes up quite a lot, and I have experienced it. I made like a comedy video on it. Most people do because there's some absolutely amazing stuff going on in there. I've met a talking milk carton. I've met Kermit the Frog, and he was Kermit the Frog, dude. Like I was questioning him on his past. I was like, okay, what was your first TV program, or when was you when did you meet this famous person? I was googling this stuff. He knew all the answers, and he sounded just like him. It was amazing. And VR chat for me was one of the most surreal experiences of VR I've had. And I could see the potential. There's people in there. They're not playing a game. They're relaxing. They're relaxing with each other, and they're chatting and they're meeting. And that was amazing.
I agree with you there. That's probably the first place in VR that I ever went to where like people weren't like, "Hey, let's go do this. Let's go do that." No, they were just chilling. They were hanging out. They were enjoying conversations with people, and it absolutely is a place to just hang out. So yeah, and Zipon, he's been in chat for quite a while, always a good guy, and I agree. I mean, if you can go to express who you really want to be in a place that allows you to do that without any bias. I mean, we've heard many people say it too. VR, gets rid of the profile, it gets rid of the gender, the identity, sometimes, but it keeps the person. It gets rid of all these other things and keeps the person. So you put that avatar on, you choose what you want to look like, whether you put a voice mod on or whether you want your original voice, you get to express how you want to come across to other people. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think just like in my own life, when I got to leave my small city, I grew up in like Lincoln, Nebraska. And when I got to leave and go to another city, I got to actually feel like, hey, I get to kind of be the guy that I wanted to be, and I get to act the way I want because there's not all these people that expect me to be a certain way,
Prejudging.
So,
yeah.
And I'm like as a kid, I always wanted to say yes, and I always wanted to do what other people wanted to make them happy, and being able to walk away from that and experience life from a different perception is so freeing. So if everyone can jump in VR and feel that way, and then get that awesome confidence, and then walk away from VR and then use that confidence in the real world, we're going to have a better world in general. We're going to have happier, more confident people.
I think that's the point, isn't it? If you can use it, you don't want to use it to hide. You want to use it to maybe get rid of a feeling to then come back to the real world and go, yeah, I'm ready for this now. Or as you said, get something positive out of it. I'd hate to think that someone would try and hide themselves away in there, because that's entirely possible as well. In virtual reality, there's another side of that where I think you could actually stay in there for a very long time, especially VR chat.
There's the one issue when it comes to staying in VR, and I think more than anything that people just avoid, it's just like you even said with the headphones earlier, it's the headsets. I mean, you put it on, it doesn't feel good. 24 hours later, your head's going to be hurting. I mean, come on. It's just, we've got to wait for the goggles that just pop right on.
Yeah, man. If they get to like the Quest Nano, where it's just like, you just put it on like a pair of goggles, man, that's it. That's it. No everlasting solar power battery. You're done. You know what I mean?
You got to be able to click through and go to AR at any time. But I do believe, I firmly believe that AR and VR is going to be, if society continues and doesn't perish and crumble, then VR and AR is the future. It's going to be in all of our houses. It's going to be built into what we use daily. And why would it be, or why wouldn't it be? Well, we can talk for hours about this. But in every single house, you can easily put in basically a projector system that allows you to see holograms of objects, people, things. And it allows you to just bridge that gap from that digital world to the real world at all times. So, and we are a society that constantly wants to integrate this digital world and make things, whether it be easier, we want it to be more advanced, right? We want to be able to multitask and multi-process and be in multiple places at once. So there's a lot of reasons that this is going to exist. And sure, if people don't want it, they're not going to have it. But the average person, I think, is going to be using these technologies in the future. But we're talking now, 20 years, 25, I think. What do you think?
I just think, like, when I saw the Quest, I thought they are ticking a lot of boxes here. You don't need headphones. You can just pass it around without any headphones on, because that was one of the things that people go, I just remember when I saw the Quest, I was like, that's pretty clever. Because normally people go, oh, have you got any earphones? Or I don't want to wear those earphones, or your earphones are uncomfortable, or whatever it is. They got rid of that. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's still quite front heavy. You've got to buy mostly mods. A lot of people buy mods. which are very good, some of them, to go with the headset. But there will be a point where it will be very comfortable, and yeah, that's some scary stuff, man. Like,
If you're talking about the Quest real fast, I will, in case anybody didn't see it before. But I'm a big fan of VR covers. This saved it for me, man. The Quest, I love the device.
I'm going to leap across. Yeah.
But yeah, I never actually felt comfortable wearing it because something about the sides pushes my, like the little pressure points on your head that makes it hurt. So yeah, I mean, what do you think? Honest, does it make the headset that much comfortable for you? Or
is that what you've got the same as me, the VR cover back bit?
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. I don't take it off. I never take this off, man.
You've also got the Mammoth grips, right? I think you were showing those off.
Yeah, I've got the Mammoth grips and the AMVR grips as well.
Which people are always complaining about the battery covers popping off, and this completely solves that issue. So
yeah,
if you were one of those people, get these Mammoth grips. They are awesome. Very excited to have it.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Okay, yeah, actually, what's funny is here, we'll talk a nice sticker, man. Is that the
Borderlands? Yeah.
That's freaking awesome, man. They've got some Rift S stickers, I know, for the Pixorp 1995 team that they wanted for OC6, but they didn't have them, but they've got them now or something. So maybe Anna can say in chat what's going to happen with those, because I haven't even seen them yet.
Nice.
But here's a quick little segue information before I talk about this little article thing that I wanted to mention real fast. And that is HTC Vive was cool enough to make sure to send the company that I work with, Arvory Immersive Experiences, Cosmos in LA, and they brought that over to Brazil. But I was here in Brazil already. So they told me, hey, we're going to send you one. We know you've done a lot of reviews. I've done 25 VR headset reviews. This will be 2026. So that's something that's really cool that they decided to send over. But I just got to say here, it didn't just come the way that it came. I mean, like, you had to pay $870 US dollars in taxes just to receive it. And Vive was nice enough to take the taxes upon themselves and pay that. So it basically cost the price of the headset as well as another $870 US dollars to then receive this. Man. So I want people to at least think a little bit about that. People here in Brazil, if they wanted to order something from America, like a $500 headset, they're going to be spending almost, if not more, sometimes more, in the price just to receive it. My VR covers, for example, just arrived. It's like $30 in covers, and it's going to cost me $54 to go pick it up. It's not. Be very lucky if you're in a place where you can receive things with less custom fees or zero fees. Like when you're in America, it just arrives. So I feel bad. Some people in these countries, they make less money. They make it twice as expensive to receive anything. So it's like 4 or 5 times more than it costs for like you or me to receive something like this when we're in our own countries. So I guess my whole point there is Brazil, you guys need to fix your stealing of money from all the people that are receiving packages, all your citizens.
Sounds like the government loving it.
And number 2, HTC Vive, good on you guys for trying to hook up and help out and actually pay those things. So not everybody would have done that. I mean, Microsoft, Oculus, and other companies, they absolutely do not pay the custom fees when they send stuff. So they're the first and only VR company that I've known that has done that for us here in Brazil. So just wanted to shout them out real quick. And it's 7:26, man. For me, it's 7:26. What time is it for you? You're in.
It's 11:26.
11 here. See, we're talking about stuff around the world. What time is it for you guys watching right now?
Let's see. It's all different, I'd imagine. Everywhere.
I am looking at this article lately. I'm going to go ahead and put it over on the screen real quick. You can see it just for a second. This is from Scientific America, and it says virtual reality might be the next big thing for mental health. And yeah, this article came out last June, I believe. Let me actually look on there. June 24th, 2019. And I thought it was actually very interesting at the time. I've kind of referenced it multiple times. and it would kind of, I've had several other people also reference it. It kind of started an idea for me, which was just something that hasn't gone away, and that just is about how important this can be for actually not only diagnosing future mental illnesses, but helping prevent them, and helping people understand them, because you can't really test somebody who has mental health without certain real world situations, and VR is the only thing that we can use that actually helps recreate that. And what I mean is, like for example, Alzheimer's patients, unless we want to put a GoPro camera on them all the time and kind of just watch it, we don't really know what they're seeing and how they're dealing with their environments. But we can put them into a fake environment, for example, and have them walk from one block to another and from one area to another, and to go to checkpoints. And then when you get to the end, to then go back and try to find your way to the beginning. And, if somebody does this correctly, it can show good signs of mental health. And obviously, if somebody has trouble doing this, depending on where they're having the trouble, they can actually see what kind of issues this person has, and not only how likely they are to have things like Alzheimer's, but, where their issues actually exist in their brain. So I find it very cool, very interesting. I'm also interested to hear what other people think about this stuff. But to me, it's like, it's really exciting, because at the end of the day, I want more people to be happy. I want more people to be alive, and I want more people to just, be able to smile and have fun and feel empowered, because I certainly can recall life when I didn't feel so empowered, and I certainly know what it feels like to feel like, you're doing some cool stuff and everything's happy, and everything's rock and roll. Like, you know what I mean? You know the difference from when you're high and when you're low. And I guess, how can we push more people to the highs more often? And when you do go low, what kind of tools can we give you that can empower you quickly and in the best way? So big shout out to chat. Got Rowdy Guy, VR Gamer Dude, VR Martin.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, Gamer Dude says it's amazing HTC paid the Cosmos. Yes, VR Gamer Dude, you're right. I'm going to have to do a long test series before I actually start talking too much about it, but I should unbox it at the very least today.
When you brought that up, I thought that's gonna go up in the chat.
There's so much stuff with Cosmos going on right now. I think that it's very obvious they didn't have the software where they wanted it to be, but the hardware is something that I haven't heard much complaints about. A lot of the things that the complaints are about are usually software related. So anyways, I'm up to figuring it out.
I think it's a beautiful headset. I think it's one of the best looking headsets, actually. I think it's a lovely looking headset.
At the end of the day, it's about price and what it can do, and how well it stands up to use. Because for me, I'm going to be looking at it purely from I guess an idea of, can you use this for esports? Number one, which I know certain actions people are having trouble with. And number two, can I actually sell this in LBE situations? Would this be something we could use at an arcade in the future? Because if I'm going to consult and tell people what they need for their spaces, I need to be able to say, hey, either an S, a Quest with the link cable, or Cosmos is the best thing for you, because we certainly know that we're trying to move away from the lighthouses and these other outside sensors, at least for now.
Nice.
Sure.
I'll just read through. So you've definitely touched on some things with some people in here, that's for sure.
Well, what you say, it's I saw Rowdy Guy said something with Alzheimer's. You still have symptoms that are physical, plaques, brain deterioration. Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy. Trying to read through chat as well. However, with other mental illnesses like depression, OCD, or addiction, it's much harder to point out what is wrong with. Yeah, I think that Rowdy Guy, you're on to the fact that these mental health issues are all very complex, different for each person, and certainly required, I think, different forms of treatment. Every single human is so different, and the severity of a mental illness is so different. I mean, there's so many regular people out there that are diagnosed with basic stuff, and there's so many people out there that are actually running around with diagnosable circumstances that are just completely not, and it's something that, for me, the reason I care about it more than anything is because I've had, as many people have, people in their family that go to lows and then disappear, right? They commit suicide, or they just don't live a happy, fulfilling life. And that's sad, and it hurts, and it's terrifying to think about, especially when you go to low places. So I like to have tools, whether it be drinking Mountain Dew and dancing on the roof like a stupid idiot to make myself feel better. Like, that's a weird combination. I'll do it. Or putting on a VR headset and playing a Beat Saber song, or jumping in VR chat and finding some strangers to go talk to and just tell them how I feel. Even having this opportunity to talk like this gives me an outlet to feel like I can express something that's in my mind that otherwise I would sit and be quiet and feel inside. So
yeah, that's good. So what you're doing, you've gone proactive. Like, for example, I know with I guess what I have, my form of mental health is definitely a depression side of things. It's not nowhere near as what it used to be. Like, I've had dark clouds. Do you know what I mean? The one thing I used to do, I used to carry a picture of my kids in my wallet, and just because you do, it's just normal. And it was my test, basically, to see how low I was. And yeah, one day they didn't make me happy, and I was like, there's something obviously wrong with me, because that isn't me. That isn't normally me. There's something clearly wrong. And I explained that to someone I was working with. So I went home and tried to get some help and stuff. But yeah, the one thing I always found, and which is probably why people say I'm addicted to the gym. I'm not addicted. I just really enjoy going. Is I found that it makes me want to do nothing. Whenever, that's my form of it. You know, you just think, oh God, I can't be bothered, or whatever. That's how it kind of starts, is not bothering. So I do the opposite. I do the complete opposite. I think if that's how I feel, I'm going to like say to myself, and I'm going to go and do it regardless. I don't care how it is. And usually that snaps me out of it. And it was funny, like Buck was saying, it's a daily thing. Like, you can talk to people and they think everything's going well on the outside, because you are only what you show to people. And what's going on here? My heart is pretty much on my sleeve most of the time. With regards to my channel, I try not to swear and stuff, but off there, I do swear quite often. When I'm completely at ease, I do swear a lot. But that's what everyone tells me. I don't even notice I'm doing it half the time. So yeah, it is a daily battle. It doesn't go. I remember being told things like when I'm having a shower, because I did have to get help. I had anger issues a little bit, which has now turned me into a bit of a Ned Flanders. You know what I mean? I'm like super happy, nice guy.
Because you're very aware of it now.
Yeah. So like, it's like when you're having a shower, imagine like the red rage or the negative thoughts turning a different color. So if you're having a shower, you let the water run down, and if you're angry, it goes from red to blue. I think it was like purple to green, things like that. Smiling at yourself while you're cleaning your teeth. There was little things in there that every day that you sort of implement, and you don't, like, they're just there now. It's like, and when I feel it's creeping up again, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what's happening here.
Exactly. I recognize this feeling.
I can feel the shadow. Yeah. You can do one, man. I'm gonna go and do a run, or I'm gonna go to the gym, or I'm gonna eat healthier, because that's another thing I found as well. Like, if I feel a bit down, I think, oh, I'm gonna eat some crap. You know what I mean? And I think, no, I'm not doing it. Yeah. So yeah, that's my like daily struggle with stuff.
No, I like being able to hear that. I think people not only hearing, hey, other people struggle, but here's how they deal with it. It gives people an idea on how they can deal with their own stuff, because we all have to do it differently. But still, for me to read stories about how other people are coping with things, certainly makes me feel better. And yeah, I think so this article that I brought up earlier, if you kind of go about halfway down, if you look it up, it's in the blogs of Scientific American. I'll put a link in the description of this blog. But it basically talks about some of those elusive symptoms, and how can we diagnose these kinds of things, providing potentially better outcomes for treatment for people. And yeah, even Rowdy Guy mentioned in chat that, sometimes it's not even just for the person who has the mental health problem. It's, VR can be used to help the families and then the people that people that are dealing with these other people that have these issues, and how can you actually understand what it's like to experience this? And for somebody who has certain mental health issues, you can feel like the whole world's staring at you. You can feel like you're on fire, and things are just like closing in on you. And if you can put on an experience and you can almost simulate those things in a almost exaggerated way, people can finally maybe see what it feels like to be that way. And I myself have social anxiety. I like pretty sometimes worse than others. Sometimes I'm fine. If I have a purpose and I'm meant to be somewhere and I have a goal, my anxiety is like doesn't exist. But If I am somewhere and I don't really have a goal or I don't know my purpose, I'm freaking out a little bit, and it doesn't make me feel the best. And especially when you're in like foreign countries, and then other people are looking at you because you look different, and then you just sometimes I get red, and then I can feel it, and then I know people, so I have these little moments where I'm about to have a panic attack, right? And I need to get away from people or every situation around me. And it's crazy because it's been years and years and years since I felt that way. It's been, how old? Hold on, I'm 31. So back when I was like 20 is when I felt this way, like the first time. And so it's been 11 years and it's happening again. No, I'm supposed to be more in control. So I don't know, just being able to figure out the best way to take care of myself going forward and to be the best me is something I want to do. And I guess talking about it is one of the best ways for me to
man, it is.
pay
And
attention to
figuring out triggers as well, isn't it? And sometimes I don't know if you can actually point at something to cause it. You can spend too long thinking, why am I feeling this way? Why did this happen? What changed? I don't think you can control it. I think it's just chemical levels in your brain, whatever it is, there is just something that changes for some reason, and you just gotta like ride it. You gotta like take control of it. And yeah, that's cool. And like you doing this, for example, you know what I mean? It's cool.
Well, and you say that that's a funny thing, because I thought about this a lot from a positive perspective. When I was at like the highest of highs, I mean, shoot, I got done doing my talk and I felt pretty good, and I had been traveling, and I got to see my son, I got to travel, I got to come back to Brazil, and I was feeling pretty good. At that moment, I started thinking about when you're always, because I have roller coasters, right? So what's going on, and why does it feel different? Why do you feel like a different person? Why do you kind of feel like you got to be quiet about this, or that you got to hide it from the rest of the world? And I think the reality there, and what I can say just to express it in a public place for the first time, I think, is that, in my opinion, people who are depressed people, not all, in my case, it doesn't mean that we're sad or that we don't see all the amazing blessings that are in front, because I grew up with so little and have so much now that compared to some people, I have nothing, right? It's true. But compared to what I had growing up, I've got so much. And I think what it is that some people, when bad things happen, or when life becomes difficult, when stressors occur, when you can't control some really important things in your life, you tend to go to really negative places. You tend to think about disappearing or not being around, or pity parties, feeling bad for yourself. Whereas other people, not everyone, but other people tend to find support from family, or they tend to, pick themselves up right away. They tend to find other ways to express themselves or to feel, as opposed to going negative. And I don't think that anybody who goes negative ever wants to. It's just that the people that go negative more often than the people that don't are generally the more depressive people. But we're all the same. I mean, most people experience a lot of those spectrums, but the depressive people go to it right away. And like you said, though, you can kind of feel it happening. It's coming. You do know it's coming. And sometimes it happens right away. And you're like, why is it happening over and over and over and over?
You can just wake up. You can just wake up like it. You can go to bed fine and wake up and think, God, everything's crap. Why? And as you say, man, you could, like I said about the picture of my kids, everything, the fact that you're healthy, the fact that people you love are alive, and whatever blessings you want to count, if that shadow's on you, it can make everything that matters seem like it doesn't matter. That's how dangerous it is. That's how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Felt good to just talk about some of those things. No.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
cool.
Truly, it's something that I'm going to be paying attention to. We're going to have to be bringing it back multiple different times. The discussion of VR and mental health, I'm excited to see how it can help people in the future, and how development is going to create different opportunities to, I don't know, not only help, but prevent some of these situations, maybe some of these thoughts from actually happening in the first place. I mean, if you have this therapy growing up, and you have this outlet and this training and this place to feel empowered from a child, I mean, you're going to be a different human being. So we have an entirely different group of generations to look at moving forward with this technology, and I definitely hope that they can do it better than some of our past generations, and fix some of those issues. So that's all I really wanted to talk about. I wanted to mention that article because it's something that comes up for me from time to time, and I used it when I was researching my talk. I wanted to read up everything that I could, and it's not just mental health or depression, schizophrenia, PTSD, being able to give people exposure therapy. There's a lot of benefits to it. So I love talking about games. Next week we'll come back and we'll talk about some more games. Asgard's Wrath. We definitely are not going to talk about that now. Next week we can talk about that. GamerTag, you're always welcome to come back.
Such a good
chat.
game, man.
But is there anything else you want to talk about that you have going on in the next week or two, other than next Sunday? What time can people catch your?
I'm like in the week. I'll be playing all sorts of games for the week, and then it's just, mate, I'm live all the time. Like every day of the week, there's nothing in particular happening. I've got EGX next week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's about it though. Like, as in anything particularly on the calendar, and then back to business as normal. So, but no, it's really cool that you're doing this. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that it sounded like you was thinking, man, I feel like chatting, but there's no one around or there's nothing to do, and then you thought, you know what? I've got the tools to actually do something about this, and it's brilliant. It's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, when I messaged you, I told GamerTag, I said, hey guy, I want to use this as a reference video, something that I can look up on the internet later and be able to show, in part because I think it is an important thing. But when people look up virtual reality mental health, I want them to see that people are discussing it and caring about it, and that it's real, and that there's all the games and there's all that fun stuff. But I want there to be content material of this subject. And obviously it's important to me, but I think it's important to most of the community. I think one thing that is underlying a lot of things is that a lot of the people who originally got into VR first, or the pioneers, even now, because we're still all the first people to get into it. We're still explaining it to everybody. But a lot of us have, I wouldn't say mental health issues, but we all struggle with internal things that we want to express. And we all appreciate VR in different ways on how it allows us to do that. So I'm intrigued with the topic, and I want to allow anybody else that wants to talk about that stuff to do so. So anybody in chat, feel free to send a message to either GamerTag on Twitter or Instagram or on YouTube, or to myself. I usually go by @RealityCheckVR. So yeah, feel free to send us a message, and if you'd like to talk about this stuff, we'd love to do that. And make sure to pay attention to GamerTag. He's going to be doing some live streams, and potentially, what'd you say? What was that?
In November. You're about, so in November, I'm trying to figure out the date, because last year I'd done it on my dad's birthday and it went completely wrong. I had to stay up for 39 hours. I'd done it was awful. I was having to use eye drops in between like video games, and so last year we done a 24-hour stream for cancer research, and we raised like $1,500. And then this year we're going to go for mental health, because I think as my channel's grown, or being in the community has grown as well, the community's growing, everyone's growing. I'm getting to meet more people, and one of the things that come about is mental health. More often, I'm just surprised. It's happening a lot, and I thought, you know what? Like, it's been, I definitely say it's a bane. It's been an issue for over half my life now. I just thought, you know what? It'd be a good thing to raise money for. And there was a program on TV a little while ago, and literally it was fantastic. There was these guys just talking. They were just, all they had to do was go on there and share what had happened, like not necessarily whether they had suicidal thoughts or what those were. They were just saying that they'd been to a place that was very dark and they come to the light again. Do you know what I mean? And almost that's sometimes enough to know that, as I pretty much said earlier, you're not alone. It's a massive issue. A lot of people suffer from it, and you can talk about it, because I know that mental health hates you talking about it. It doesn't want you to talk about it. It wants you to go, shut up, man. Yeah, it's just you and me now, right? Yeah, put the blinders on. And I love the fact that you're standing up and fighting it. It's great.
It's the best way to do it. Talking about things, confronting things, and Just trying to be better people overall, right? And I think that you're an amazing part of the community. I'm really glad that you could be on the chat with us today. And I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight to everyone else. We'll see you next Sunday. This VRSpies podcast is definitely going to try to be consistently on, but the times are just going to figure themselves out. So, all right. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.
Take care.
Bye-bye, guys.